Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Uncharted is a very, very popular video game system. I played the first two, and I kind of just fell off after that. But it's a very popular video game. It has a great storyline in it, and the characters really come to life, and people across the world love it. Now, this game was kind of dropped after the Resident Evil deck building game was dropped, and I don't know that it had the effect that maybe it would have nowadays if it was to come out, because I think people are just up for these kind of things. So what I thought I was buying was a cash in. I liked the series at the time. I was like, hey, I really want to play the board game. It's probably going to be garbage like the Assassin's Creed game, but I'll check it out anyway. And I ended up with is a game that actually surpassed what I thought it would be. And I put it on the shelf for a couple years. I wrote a review at the time, and I brought it back out thinking, you know, I'm probably going to get rid of this. Probably didn't age very well. And lo and behold, it's actually a very fun game again. So I'm really happy that I'm re-reviewing this for video and finding a very good game. It has all the characters in it. I mean, it has so many characters in it for the video game series. And on the back of each one, you can play with the advanced version, which is unique powers, and they all play a little bit differently. Some are better than others, no doubt, but it plays brilliantly. And I really like this game. It's just a simple little card game where you're going on adventures, you're fighting the bad guys, you're doing all these little things where you're going through the tombs, but it just plays out well. Now, it's not the most competitive card game you're ever going to play. You know, it's not trying to be Race for the Galaxy in its complexity, but it's a very, very cool game. And if you're a fan of the series, of the video game series, I'm saying this is a game you absolutely have to check out. Find this down, track it. I think you're going to find out a little adventure game with cards that actually kind of works, and it's neat that it's based on an IP that's really, really good. So check this one out. Uncharted, if you're a fan of the series, I think you're really going to like it. For me, once again, a few years later, it's a keeper, guys. Here's components for Uncharted, the board game. You can see it's action-packed right from the video game. It kind of looks like artwork. I'm going to open it up. You're going to get a game manual inside. You're going to get a very black board. Now, this board is kind of bizarre. It just feels weird. It has this weird gloss over it. And it just doesn't feel like most boards do. That's not a complaint at all. Just the way it feels. You have a scoring track up here, a place to put cards. Really nice with all the rules of the game are right here, so you absolutely can refer to it. And places for the piles. Not really needed, to be honest, but fantastic addition. You're going to have these little custom things inside. And this is like, I don't know, like cardboard, but it's weird. It's not like a normal insert. I put my little tokens in here. I have the cards, fairly good quality, especially for a mass market game. You get a lot of different characters in it, player aid cards, and everything fits in here fairly nicely. So the components, you know, for a mass market game, very good. Here's a rulebook for Uncharted. I'm not real crazy about it, so you get an overview, and they give you a detailed component overlook. I don't usually like that at the beginning. It kind of touches the game board. Then here are the rules for the game. I don't know, it's just really weird how it's all small and kind of the font is really, really, really small. And here's the how to play. It works. I was able to learn the game, but for a mass market game, I don't feel like this is going to work very well. Here's a multiplayer deathmatch at the end. You have survival rules that you can do. And it's okay, but this is probably the weakest part about the game. And I just wish it was a little bit stronger. But for us gamers, we'll be able to read this and we'll be able to decipher it fairly easily. So first thing you're going to do is pick a character. Now on this side, they're all going to be the same. And you do have quite a few characters to pick from if you're a fan of the show. Now if you're going to play this advanced way, which gives everybody a power, here's Nathan Drake. So at 6 life or less, at the beginning of your turn, you get 1 additional action. At 4 or less, you get a gun plus 2. Whenever you defeat a target, you draw a card. And he has 10 health. So let's say, compared to Victor, who has 11. And on his turn, 7 or less, you may place a compass 1 to start each round, and then it gets a +1 if he gets out of that. So each of us going to have their own unique power, and you'll choose that at first. Each player will start out with a red, green, yellow, and blue that will be available to them, and they'll be able to play these as they turn, and everybody will start out with the same set of 4 cards. Then you will place out the 6 starter cards that will go here, and you can see them with the white around them. You will have an adventure deck that you'll set up, an action pile, and a special action pile that you'll have here. And just to show you the difference, one will say normal and one will say special. So that's how you categorize those, and you'll just shuffle those up. There's no assigned order. You'll take your 4 basic cards. You'll draw 3 normal action cards off the top of the deck, and that will be your 7-card starting hand. During your turn, you'll be playing cards and tapping them, if you will, in order to utilize them. So if I wanted to use, say, this card right here, deal 1 damage to your life, but do one of the following, I can draw or place a compass down. So I would just tap this. But so at the beginning of my turn, I would untap all my cards, and they would be usable again. So at the beginning of your turn, the first thing you do is any cards you used previously, you'll be able to untap them. So this is a little confusing for some players, I've noticed on the Board Game Geek. So on the action phase, which is step 2, the first stage was untap everything. You'll be able to play cards. On your turn, you can play 2 cards and perform 2 different actions. So if I want to do this, it says deal 1 damage. Let's say I was Victor Sullivan. I could deal 1 damage to myself. So I'm at 11. I go down to 10. So if I'm Victor Sullivan and I played this card, it says deal 1 damage to myself. I go from 11 to 10. Then I can either draw a card from the adventure deck, the normal one. So let's say I did that, which could be an action. Or I could take one of my compasses and put it on one of these cards. So for example, if I wanted to put it on this adventure one, let's say this one right here, it takes 2 to bust it. And when it busts, we get a victory point. We will draw a card. Now if I would have put it here, this gives you an ongoing power. Whenever a player with 1 or more search members on this card plays a green card, he can play with a -1 cost. It's a very good one to start the game out with. And then I could play, let's say, another card like this. It costs 0 cost, and I could put 1 compass out again. And I could either bust this and get the 1 victory point, or I could place it anywhere that I want. But let's say anywhere I want. But let's say I want to do that for whatever purpose. I would take my 1 victory point, which would be signified up here, and a new adventure card would come out. And that's how that will work. Now, if I'm on a turn and I want to play, say, this card, it would require me to actually discard 3 cards. So maybe I would take these 3 cards, discard them out of the game, and then I could play this card down and then tap it whenever I want to draw a card. So you'll be getting rid of cards in order to play these. Now, the starter cards that you have when the game starts are all 0, but the 3 cards you drew and all other cards you'll be able to gain during the game will have a cost associated with them, and you would just discard those right out of your being. Now, players continue taking actions and trying to get victory points, which is what you're trying to do here, until everybody has to pass. Once everybody passes, then the enemies will be able to fight you. Now, if I wanted to fight him, I would need to play gun cards that would give me bullets, and I could kill him and get him out of the way, and that would get me a special card. So anytime you kill one of these guys, then you get a special card, and these are much more powerful cards. But since we all passed, per se, this guy would then attack us, and he would be able to shoot each player with a 1. And there'll be stronger and stronger bad guys in the deck. So let's take a look at this tank. He would be able to shoot everybody 3 times. He's 9 to kill, but gives you 5 victory points when you kill him. This guy has 2 for each round. It's 8 to kill him, etc. So what every player could do, if they have any cards that haven't been tapped, they can then tap those cards as 1 defense. So every card you're able to tap that you didn't utilize during the action phase can now be used as defense. If not, you would have to take it off of your health, and if you get down to 0, you're going to be eliminated from the game. So with a little planning, it's not going to be too bad, but if there's multiple people out here, they're going to be shooting you multiple times. Then that would end the round. You'd go back to the beginning, like I said, and you would untap everything and be able to use them again. Now, one caveat is when you're shooting people, remember I said you could use these cards. You can tap multiple of these gun cards if you have them in order to add up what it would take to kill somebody. So you don't have to do it with just 1 card. You can utilize multiple one of these cards to shoot somebody. Who should buy this game? This is going to be strictly for people that are a fan of the video game series and or like card games. I don't think you have to know the series to like this game. The game works just fine as it is without knowing the IP. But if you know the IP, it's going to lift it up just a little bit. And I think that you're really going to enjoy this. You probably don't want to play this with younger children. There's nothing in it that's bad. I just think the reading is going to be there. So I'm saying maybe 8+ is where you want to start somebody out on this. I think they'll have a really good time with it. So for me, Uncharted is 2 thumbs up. I like this for what it is, and it far surpasses what I feel like an IP game, not what Star Wars on it should be. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.